It's time for Dodger baseball.
What a catch by Mookie Betts. Another home run for Corey Seager. Another strikeout for Kershaw. A robbery of Tatis. Gone. What a snap. This is what an ace looks like.
And tagged out is Riley, a double play.
Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
And welcome to the Dodgers Nation post-game show. I'm your host, Doug McCain. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMAC_LA. That's at DMAC_LA. So the Dodgers, they lose today to the New York Mets. I see you guys tell me there's some title issues. Let me see what's going on with that. Give me 1 second here, and we'll fix that. Oh, I think it's just on YouTube because of the link. But yep, guys, the Dodgers, they lose today. A tough one to the New York Mets. They snapped their 9-game winning streak, and unfortunately, the Giants, another comeback win in Oakland. All 9 of the Giants' runs in Oakland have come via the home run ball, and they get another big one late today on another pinch hit. And the Dodgers, they had an opportunity. They came out of the gates. David Price did not look sharp early on. 33 pitches in that first inning. Gives up those 3 runs. And the Dodgers offense, they had just gone quiet all day today. They just couldn't get it going. After that 4th inning, just 1 base runner after that, the A.J. Pollock double there in the later in the game. And yeah, it was a game that the Dodgers really, there's that offense, not great at bats. Yeah, those lazy at bats. And Stroman had it going, but the Dodgers' offense just was not getting it going. They did not take advantage. In that 4th inning, when Belly got picked off, they had an opportunity to tie it there, and that was big. The Dodgers had runners in the corners, couldn't cash in on that extra, on the runners on the corner situation to tie it there and really put the pressure on the New York Mets. But look, they've won 9 of their last 10 games. They've shaved 1.5 games off the lead in the NL West this week. They headed into this week's action down 4 games in the NL West. Now they're just 2.5 games back in a big series coming up with the San Diego Padres. They've had a free fall this season, but the Dodgers need to go down there and take care of business. But let me know down below in the comments, why do you think the Dodgers lost today? Let's slice up that blame pie. Who takes the blame for today's loss for your Los Angeles Dodgers? Let me know down below in the comment section. David Price did not pitch his best. Of course, that's obvious. He ends up really struggling early on. Just did not have his best command, and he just wasn't hitting his spots early on. They get 3 runs off 3 hits there in the first inning. But first, let me know where you guys represent Dodgers Nation from today. Give me those city zip codes down below in the comment section. We got I just don't think, the title, I think it might be too long on YouTube. I'll fix that. F the Mets, very poor performance. The Pirates, we lost to the Mets. Dodgers, okay, let me see. Let me fix that. It's really, really unfortunate. The Dodgers lost today, given how hot they were coming into this game, averaging 5.3 runs per game during this 9-game winning streak. And today they just could not get it done, and they just couldn't really get it done with the bats. They had 1 big inning when they put up the 2 runs, but other than that, in the 4th, they just really couldn't put together enough offense to win today's game. And it's just you got to think of the positive in this week. And this week, the Dodgers, like I said, they went in, they were on a tear, they were catching fire, and they lose the last game of the series to the New York Mets. And the Mets really a desperate team. Owners calling them out. They are just falling way behind in the NL East, and they're just unable to get it done. So, but how do you guys feel about the Dodgers this week? Do you guys feel like there's a win? Do you guys feel that, just really yesterday was the really one that really hurt. The A's were big. The Padres, the Giants come back. They had that big 2-run shot from Lamont Wade there. So really, it's this. Well, the big question I have is, when will the Giants' luck start to run out? They really, really are just they take advantage of situations. You got to give them credit, and they have guys that can really beat you deep at any given moment. I think really that's the recipe for their success. Is so many guys can really can go yard for them in big spots. But at some point, you'd have to hope this Giants team is going to start struggling. They go to New York for a series with the Mets, and then they play the hottest team in baseball, probably not named the Dodgers, and that's the Atlanta Braves. So as long as the Dodgers can go down to San Diego and take care of business, take at least 2 out of 3, I like the Dodgers' chances this next week to take another leap and cut that lead to at least 1.5 games, 1 game, a half game, or even possibly be in first place by this time next week. I definitely think that's in the cards. The Dodgers' second best record in Major League Baseball. So, look, I mean, you just got to look at it. The competition is very, very thick here in the NL West. The Giants really having a dream season for as far as their standards go. And we'll see. I mean, Wednesday, you're going to have the good thing about the way the pitching lines up. We're still TBD for Tuesday's matchup, but you got Walker Buehler and Max Scherzer going in San Diego, and then hopefully Urias will be ready to go against San Diego. So that's going to be big, and I think this Dodgers team can really go down there and just take advantage of a reeling Padres team that can't just put it together on offense. But here we go, guys. Back into the comment section. Dodgers go and Giants win. Cody of Barf sign. That's from my man Joseph Megazzeni. Yeah, he's kind of back to being on the struggle bus once again. He was 1 for 23, 1 for 24. Did have that RBI single on that first pitch against Marcus Stroman, so that was positive. That was encouraging for Cody Bellinger. But at least his golf game looks pretty legit. I don't know if you guys saw this before the game. Of course you did. They were playing who can hit it closest to the cup, and to see who gets the first pick in the fantasy football draft. By the way, do you really want the first pitch in the fantasy football draft? Me, I would probably not want that if I could. And he ends up having a little fun. And you got to stay loose a long season, dog days of August. I don't fault them for that. But, yeah, he is starting to struggle once again. Because, yo, D-Mac, happy Sunday, my dude. What up, my man Anthony King? Let's go Dodgers, always. Hey, how does everyone feel? I knew we'd check down. Cody's swing, not good at all. LLWC, this game was lost in the first inning. Let's look at that first inning. On a 3-2 count, he walks Brandon Nimmo. By the way, have you ever seen anyone get to first base faster on a walk? I mean, he's like Trey Turner, like down line after taking a walk. He takes that walk, and then he strikes out Alonso with that changeup for the first out. So DP's able to get Alonso with that changeup for the first out. Then on a 2-1 count, Javi Baez, David Price leaves a little two-seamer over the plate, and Javi Baez cranks a double over Pollock's head in left. By the way, not a good day for A.J. Pollock in left field. I told you guys that I think that ultimately if everyone's clicking, yeah, we'll see what happens with A.J. Pollock and Chris Taylor in center versus Cody Bellinger, but not the best day for Pollock, but he was one of the only guys that showed up with the stick today, so he more than made up for it. But the ball was over the middle of the plate. Pollock gets to the ball. He took a few steps. He took a couple of those steps before he made that throw, and that's what allowed him to score at the plate. That's what allowed Nimmo to score. You would have had a better shot if you had filled that cleanly, not taking those extra steps. But the Mets, they strike first blood. They take a 1-0 lead, and then Villar took second on the throw, and then took third on the E2. So not just sloppy defense. This Dodger team, I don't know if they were just riding too high on this 9-game winning streak. I don't know if they were feeling themselves a little too much, but you got to clean things up on the defensive side. You got to find a way to just clean up that area and try to just make heads-up plays. Try to get tight with it, and you're seeing too much sloppiness on defense still, in my opinion. They need to play a little more heads-up baseball, and there was another example right in that first inning. From Pollock, I mean, some of these plays you're not going to see errors on, but you also are going to see situations where you're not doing the best to put yourself in the best position to get key outs, especially when you're playing against a desperate Mets team that is reeling. And so in that situation, they end up scoring first. And then Davis singled to right to score Baez. That made it 2-0 Metropolitans. And then Drury grounds to first for the second out. Davis advanced to second. And then on a 1-0 count, Villar singled to center. And Davis scored in the air. Then Villar was safe at third on the throwing error by Will Smith. So a very sloppy first inning for the Dodgers. Mets get 3 runs on 3 hits in the first. 33 pitches, the most thrown by David Price this year. And there's a time when the Dodgers, they hadn't allowed more than 2 runs in a single inning this entire month of August. So, look, I mean, this bullpen, this pitching staff, they've been absolute light. They've been nails. They've been absolutely lights out all month long. And at one point, baseball is going to baseball. Remember, this isn't the sport. This isn't NFL. There's only 16 games. There's 162 games in Major League Baseball. At some point, you're going to lose some games unless you're the 2016 Indians or the A's. It was just unfortunate. It was just unfortunate this game today because you really like the Dodgers' momentum heading into this one. There were some bright spots. I think Neftali Fleas going in there, having that shutout inning, and then you had Shane Green. He looked terrible. There's a reason why he was released by the Braves. But just a bad game. Wait, let's go into this blame game though. Who do you guys blame for today's loss? I want to get into that. Get back into this comment section. Here we go. I actually lost my comments for the first long part of the show, but we are back in the mix. Here we go. Dodgers didn't look fired up today from Craig Osterberg. At least we're 2.5 games back. That's from Sicko Rams. This game was lost in the first inning. Another one of those. Angelo Bailey, wow, couldn't even win for my man Russell Westbrook, SMH. Yeah, Russ was out there. He was dealing before the game, playing catch. He looked like a natural. I'm telling you, I would have rather had Russell Westbrook on the mound today than Shane Green. I'm just saying, I think that Russ would have put the Dodgers in a better position. But that game, like I said, the way you weren't going to win this game with 2 runs today. The way that Stroman pitched very well. He ends up going 6 innings, had 6 punchies, had 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 94 pitches. Familia came in and got the job done. May and Diaz, really the Mets pitching had a really nice day. So you got to tip your cap and give them some credit. A nice job by the Mets pitching staff today. Not even too many strikeouts, 8 punch-outs for that Mets pitching staff, but they were getting quick, easy outs. The Dodgers, I did not like their at-bat quality at times today. And then, like I said, they were kind of behind the 8 ball early. David Price did bounce back nicely, though. After that first inning, he ends up going 3 more innings and didn't give up another hit or another earned run. So David Price ends up bouncing back. And look, you think 3 runs, the Dodgers can manage to get this thing at least respectable, at least until the late innings, and they were able to cut that lead from 3-2, from 3-1 when the Dodgers scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th inning. So Justin Turner, he flies to center for the first. So jumping to the bottom of the 4th inning, Justin Turner, he flies to center for the first out. And then on a 3-1 count, Corey Seager, he banged a Stroman cutter to center for a 1-out single. Dodgers' first base hit other than David Price. And then Chris Taylor, he reached on an infield single to third. He had a scorcher to J.D. Davis. Looked like he was a little shook up there. But the Dodgers, they're set up nicely there. 1 out, runners on first and second. And then Pollock, he draws the walk, loading the bases for Cody Bellinger, who had been 1 for his last 24. He attacks the first pitch and singles to right, scoring Seager and Taylor to make it 3-2 Mets. And you're thinking at that point, bottom of the 4th inning, plenty of time. Dodgers are going to get it going, and they're going to continue this win streak and push it into double digits with their 10th straight win. But then they get Cody Bellinger, who was trying to go to second for the 3rd out. So the Dodgers, they blew a key opportunity there with runners on the corners and McKinney at the plate hitting for David Price. And I thought that was really the big buzzkill of that game because the Dodgers, they could have really opened things up. They could have got Stroman out earlier. They could have found a way to tie it and maybe take a lead earlier in this game. In a game where the pitchers really needed the offense to step up and carry them because the pitching staff has been carrying this Dodgers offense, and really this Dodgers team is one of the big reasons why they've been on this run of late. So, yeah, that was really the big inning. And then outside of that 4th inning, the Dodgers, outside that 4th inning, just 1 base runner after that. So, really this offense they just could not get it going. Just 5 hits for LA. You didn't see the bombs. You didn't see the home runs. And, after that 4th inning, they were just quiet like a library, just really nothing doing after that. No real opportunities to put up some crooked number innings and find a way to get back in this game. And then also you get that big top of the 7th for the Mets where J.D. Davis hits the home run. So Nemo pops to short, and this was all with 2 outs too, which was so unfortunate. So Nemo, he pops to short for the first out, and then Alonso struck out swing for the 2nd out, and then Baez, he gets that double, and not the worst pitch there by Phil Bigford. He just gets his barrel on the bat, rips it into left field, and also was not a great throw by A.J. Pollock. A better throw by A.J. Pollock. They get Baez at second. They get out of the inning. They're still down just 3-2. And then after that, what happens? J.D. Davis hits a 2-run shot off Phil Bickford to make it 5-2 Mets. So they get those 2 runs back. Phil Bickford's first 2 runs he's allowed in the month of August. And then he gets McNeil to fly to left to end the inning. So they get 2 runs on 2 hits. They get those 2 runs back. And then you saw what happened later in the game. But then bottom of the 7th, A.J. Pollock got that double to center, and that was the only base runner the Dodgers had since that 4th inning. So they were just going down quietly into the afternoon, and then you jump to that top of the 9th inning. Top of the 9th inning, it's still 5-2 Mets, and Conforto, Green was in to pitch for the Dodgers. Conforto, he popped to first. Nemo singled to right. Alonso was hit by a pitch. Nemo to second. Then Baez was hit by a pitch. Alonso to second. Nemo to third. And then he walks Davis, scoring Nemo. Baez advanced to second. Alonso to third. That made it 6-2 New York Mets. And then in comes Victor Gonzalez. McNeil ground into a fielder's choice to third, scoring Alonso, making it 7-2 Mets. And then he gets Villar swinging. So he came in. Victor Gonzalez came in, gave up the 1 run on that fielder's choice, but did get use that slider to strike out Villar, keep it to 7-2, and the Dodgers, bottom of the 9th, really nothing going. They go down 1-2-3 inning for LA, and they lose by a score of 7-2. Did the Dodgers. Their record is 78-49. They're now 2.5 games back from the Giants. But, hey, things are looking up in general. Let's get back into this comment section, guys. We got the 760, the 909 Pomona, Belly, Brain Freeze, New York City in the house. When does Betts come back? Luis, it's looking promising that it could be at some point this week. He's responded very well to those injections. He said he hasn't felt this good all season long. The pain has really subsided, and I'm really excited to see the return of Mookie Betts because even with that hip injury, he was scorching the baseball second half of the season. He's played in 8 games, OPS like 1,500, something crazy like that. So for Mookie Betts to come in, I'm excited to see him not just come back, but come back and hit in that 3-hole with Trey Turner leading things off. You got Muncy in the 2-hole. I'm excited to see this offense in this lineup because this is the offense you're going to see in the postseason with Trey Turner, Max Muncy, Mookie Betts, Corey Seager, Justin Turner, Bellinger, Pollock, Chris Taylor down the line. And you're going to see some more depth in the bottom of that lineup that's going to help the Dodgers kind of complete this thing. But we got Moose 1032. The bullpen days with Price are a luxury if we win. Yeah, I mean, look, when you're the Dodgers, when you're on a run like this, and you expect to win. And that's, I think, the difference between this week and some weeks prior when you saw the struggles when this team was hovering above 500 when it came to the bad times in July. And during certain stretches where it was just you didn't know if the Dodgers were going to win or not. You weren't very confident that the Dodgers were going to finish off games and play complete games, and when the offense was going to be inconsistent. Well, that's changed. I mean, when you win 9 straight games, you've won 12 of your last 13. You've taken care of business. You closed the gap in the NL West, and you have the second best record in Major League Baseball. Then you say to yourself, hey, we expect to win each and every game, no matter who's out there on the mound. And it was just unfortunate. The Mets came out and they came out and they got that win. They got those 3 runs early, and that really proved to be the difference in this one. The Dodgers couldn't get a lead at any point. They scored just 2 runs. So yeah, David Price was not on it early on. Did not have his best stuff. 33 pitches, the most he's thrown all season long. But I've seen in an inning all season long. But I've seen people out there saying they hate David Price. David Price is a bum. I've seen all this hate on Twitter about David Price, and I get it, man. You can have your opinions. I'm cool with that. You guys know that I respect your opinion, even if I disagree with you. But I just do want to point out that since July 1st, David Price has a 3.44 heading into today. Since July 1st, David Price had a 3.44 ERA, a whip over 1, just over 1, in 34 innings pitched. And those 34 innings are the 3rd most on the team other than Walker Buehler and Julio Urias. So he's definitely stepped up when there was so much turmoil, there was so much confusion with this starting rotation. You had the Bauer situation. You had what happened with Clayton Kershaw going down to injury. Urias just recently hit the IL. He'll be back, but Tony Gonsolin also. So really so much uncertainty with his Dodgers rotation for him to come in and give you those 4+ innings each and every time he was called upon. He went into the 6th inning twice. you really have to applaud David Price, but today just wasn't his day. But still, 3 runs in 4 innings with this Dodgers offense at home, going up against this Mets team, you would expect a little more run support. So if you want to blame David Price, you also have to blame this Dodgers offense up and down this lineup, who today, if we look at it, the Dodgers, 1 extra base hit all day. 1 extra base hit. That was that Pollock double that proved to be meaningless as far as the scoring goes late in the game in the bottom of the 7th inning. And they end up just 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. As a team, they go 5 for 31. And Trey Turner in the top of this lineup, too. So the top of the lineup, Trey Turner, Max Muncy, and Justin Turner, they go a combined 0 for 12. If you lump in Corey Seager and Will Smith, Trey Turner, Max Muncy, Justin Turner, Corey Seager, Will Smith, they go a combined 1 for 20. So when your number 1 through 5 hitters are going a combined 1 for 20 at home, you really can't blame it on the pitcher. You really got to blame it on the offense in the top of that order. Those having a good time before the game, which is okay. I'm okay with it. But when you don't win, people are going to point to that and say, hey, were you guys focused and this and that? Look, you got to have some fun. It's the dog days of August. This is not your football, your basketball. This is a sport where you play each and every single day during these stretches. Dodgers on a run of 22 games in 23 days. You got to have some fun with it. But the way this offense performed when they had an opportunity to end the week just a game and a half behind the Giants, I think it was a big missed opportunity. But look, if you continue to win 9 of 10 games, you're going to win this division. And the schedule does get tougher. You still have the road trip to San Francisco. The Padres, I know that they've been on a free fall this season, but they're still dangerous. You know they're going to come to play because of it's the Los Angeles Dodgers. And, here we go. Let's see. Going down into the comment section, guys. Yeah, I'm still ready. Oh, okay. Fan for 60 years. What up, Richie? You get a Let's Go Dodgers if you're a fan for 60 years. Respect. Urias is going. Yeah. I said that. My bad. About Urias going Tuesday. So you got Urias. And last time, the thing about Julio too is the thing about Urias is last time he was in San Diego, he had one of his worst outings of the year. So that's one thing you want to look at, too. Him coming off the IL. I do expect that arm to be fresh, which I'm excited about. But his last start in San Diego was one of his worst starts on the year. On Monday, it was a Monday game, June 21st. He ended up giving up 6 earned runs, had those 2 home runs he gave up, 6 earned runs on 6 hits. And Darvish was on that day, but Julio Urias really needs to be on his game. He gave that bomb to Manny Machado in that one. Gave that bomb to Cronenworth. So the Padres are they're in the mix for the wild card game. They're trying to fight off the Cincinnati Reds. So I expect 3 playoff-like games down there in San Diego, and maybe a loss today wakes up the Dodgers and helps them realize, hey, just because you won 9 straight, it doesn't mean anything. It's what have you done for me lately in Major League Baseball. So I think when you look at those. When you look at that matchup right there, you really like your chances if you're the Dodgers, and you hope that there's no rust in just a little more than a week off for Julio Urias with that getting hit in the calf there against the Mets. But they got Blake Snell going up against Walker Buehler in the Wednesday game, and we'll see for the Thursday game. That hasn't been announced yet, but anytime you got Urias, Buehler, and Urias, I like my chances down in San Diego and getting refocused and just holding serve. And hopefully the New York Mets, they are going to be at home. The Giants, that offense, very boomer bust. Hopefully the Mets can steal a game or 2 or 3, hopefully, against this Giants team. I'm telling you, one of the bright spots, too, this weekend was everyone wants to talk about the magic of the Giants, which they definitely have this year. They got that little extra special sauce on their season. They've got that magic. They haven't turned to a pumpkin just yet. But yesterday, another rough outing for Kevin Gausman. Kevin Gausman ends up going 3 2/3. So, look, I think they're starting to show some chinks in that armor up there in San Francisco. But can't keep being sloppy. That's from Robert Rocha. We got AJ still better than Belly right now. Joe Correo. Yeah, I don't think there's any debating that for sure. Defensively, you saw, I mean, Bellinger made the play where bounce off the wall. He makes the quick turn. You see defensively, Bellinger obviously is a superior player, but Pollock's numbers speak for themselves, and he's a guy that he doubled today. He did his part for sure. There's no question about it, and he just continues to have a more than solid season, hitting over 300. But Price is trash, Penn trash. That's from Bruce Davis. Shane Green did not look big league ready. That's from Carnivorous Lunar Activity over on YouTube. Yeah, that's a good point. And yes, Shane Green, he really struggled. He goes a third of an inning, had all those hit batters, gives up 2 runs on a hit, no punch outs. And yes, you expect him, based on the fact that he got released by the Atlanta Braves, that it might take some time for this Dodgers developmental staff and these pitching coaches to start to get the best out of him. Because I think if you're the Dodgers and you're going to take a flyer on a Shane Green and do some dumpster diving, you want to give him a chance to come in there and try to refine his skill set, try to find what's been going wrong for him, trying to find ways that you can help him in the way he attacks hitters, try to refine his mechanics a little bit and try to get the best of him and try to pitch like the guy in 2019. But there's been so many red flags with him, with the ground ball rates going the wrong direction, with the lack of missed bats. He's just not the pitcher he was in 2019, and I just don't see him really helping this Dodger team. He's a nice name, but yeah, unfortunately not the case. But David Price and defense, terrible loss. That's from Dodger Blue. I blame the bats from Robert Rocha. Luis Ponce, 3-1 series is okay, step by step. Yeah, it depends how you frame it. And if you frame it like that, the Dodgers take 3 games out of 4 against this New York Mets team. A lot of Mets fans in the house. I was at the game yesterday with the DN fan. We were repping out there, and a lot of Mets fans. They had the Tinseltown takeover, as they were calling it. And, yeah, they're excited about this series. Their owners talking smack on Twitter. You got Lindor basically admitting that he's been a bust this year. And, yeah, a lot of, this Dodger team ends up taking 3 out of 4 at home. And you saw those one-run wins, too. The one-run wins back-to-back with the Friday and yesterday's win. So they won some tight ones. They could have easily lost 3 out of 4 this series, and we could be doomsday Dodgers right now. But that wasn't the case. They're 27-10-3 in series this year, so that's definitely a solid number. And that winning streak, though, it ends at 9, their longest winning streak of the year. They were trying to match double digits for the first time since 2017 when they had that 11-game winning streak going. But Baez did good today. Yeah, he definitely did. Just check the score. Ouch. Cody and AJ base running. Anthony Keene, what does Roberts have to have against Beatty? Is his defense that bad, Anthony Keene? I mean, his defense definitely is that bad, but, I mean, if he's in there producing with the stick, he's definitely some guy you want to have in there. McKinney pretty much single-handedly won a game for the Dodgers last week, the 2-1 win over the Pirates, where he had that throw-out at third base, and then you also had the big home run, and the Dodgers won a tight one in that one. So he had that big impact, but no hits, no ribbies, pathetic. DFA green from Anthony Keene. Reds have jumped the Padres and now own the second wild card, Robert Rocha. So that's exciting. It also means if the Dodgers play the Reds in a 3-game set in September, but it also means that the Padres are going to be playing desperate. When you play a team that's desperate, you're going to get their best baseball. Hopefully, if you're a Padres fan, that's what you would think. And that's a Padres team that's going to be more than motivated. Same with the Dodgers. And even though they're not fighting for the division, even though the Padres are closer to the Rockies than the Dodgers these days, they have everything on the line. And if you get in that wild card game, you can win the World Series. That's what we know. We as recently as 2019, ask Max Scherzer and Trey Turner, so they can still be dangerous in that game. But Dodgers horrible today. Mr. Green, your bus is here from Joe Correo. Pound for pound credit Mets, but Dodgers look flat. I agree with you, pound for pound. Dodgers, look, it's those lazy Sunday games. I hate those games sometimes when they just don't look. They look flat, like you said, and that was. I just don't. I think they were a little blindsided by that early 3-0 lead from this Mets team. When you look at their numbers of runners in scoring position, if you look at how inept this Mets team has been at the plate, I think the Dodgers were a little stunned by that 3-0 deficit early on, and they were never able to overcome that during this game. But is this live? This is a live show. Michael Carrillo over on YouTube. Absolutely. Roach, Dodger fans and overreacting, name a better duo. Roach, come on. This is what Dodger fans do. Emotional, overreacting. That is what we do best. And then when the next game starts, we act like we never said a bad thing about these players, and we root for them with all of our hearts, right? That's kind of the Dodgers' plan. But David to Saucy, yo, D-Mac, do you mind Dodgers playing the wild card at this point? I mean, my answer to that would be absolutely. I mind. I do not want to see the Dodgers playing a wild card game under any circumstances, even though I'd feel very confident if you have a Max Scherzer and a Walker Buehler in that game that the Dodgers would be able to take care of business. But this is baseball. Baseball is an insane sport. It's designed to break your heart. It's a cruel sport. And the bottom line is anything can happen in a one-game playoff game. And do you really want to play 162 games, have the second-best record in Major League Baseball, and put yourself in a position where that could all come crashing down with one loss? Me, I don't want to see that. I want to head to the NLDS at home, win our 9th straight NL West title. To me, that's the most important thing right now because you have so much invested in this team with this core. Like I'm telling you, there's a good chance this is the last you'll see of this core. This is no one's talking about this. I don't know why, but no one is talking about this. But this really is the last dance, in my opinion, for this core. It truly is, and no one's talking about it. And I think that people just assume that Seager will be back and Chris Taylor will be back and Kershaw will be back. And I guarantee you Kershaw will not play for another franchise, but you just never know from year to year what's going to happen with any of these guys when they hit free agency. They have big decisions to make, and I'm just telling you, this is the last dance with this core. I think there's a very good chance of that, but I don't hear too many people talking about that. But dismantle the A's from Anthony Keene. Roach, imagine coming off a 9-game winning streak and still being upset. Dodger fans are so spoiled, Roach. Yeah, that is kind of the nature of it. I mean, what if Dodger fans were Pirates fans or anything else? But, I mean, really that's a credit to this Dodgers franchise that has set this standard and has spoiled this fan base, and they understand that what the expectations are. No one will accept anything less than a World Series title, and that's the goal here. And this is just a unique season where you just have this Giants team that's come out of nowhere. I don't know what they've done. I don't know if they're cheating. I don't know if they sold themselves to the devil. I don't know what it is, but this Giants team is having a magical season. I'm just playing. I actually have a lot of respect for the way they go about their business up in San Francisco. They're a gritty team. They're a tough team. They don't go out without a fight, and you got to give them a lot of respect. They've had a lot of guys that have just played above their expectations and played beyond their capabilities, in my opinion, this season to accomplish what they've been able to accomplish. But there's this season, like Ned Cleddy likes to say, the season is too long when you got a team like the Dodgers that have this talent. To me, they are peaking at the right time. They're going to peak at the right time. I don't think they peaked yet because they don't have Mookie Betts back or Clayton Kershaw. I think they will peak at the right time, and I'd rather be the hot team heading into postseason play than be the Giants that, to me, with Gosman and DeSclafani not pitching their best, you start to see just slowly and surely that the pitching has just not been as quality as it was early in the year for them. But yeah, let's look at Max Muncy. You know how we do. We bring our facts to the fight. We don't let facts get in the way of our feelings here on the Dodgers Nation post-game show. In his last 47 at-bats, he's 11 for his last 47, hitting .234 with a .993 OPS, 6 home runs, 2 doubles. He had those 2 multi-home run games against the Mets and the Pirates. And then, Bellinger starting to struggle again. 8 for his last 47 with a .651 OPS. Chris Taylor's another guy who had a big day yesterday, but he was kind of hitting a little dip. 676 OPS over his last 45 at-bats, his last 12 games. So you're seeing this lineup really they've been carried by the pitching, but the offense, once they get moved. But if you look at the last 7 days with Max Muncy, he's hitting 182. 182 in his last 7 games. 4 for his last 22. Maybe he's got everyone talks about dad strength, but to me, I think it's more like dad fatigue when it comes to some of these guys. Because, yeah, man. But, hey, he'll get it together. He's definitely, between Tatis, Bryce Harper, Max Muncy, he's had an elite season in the National League. Let's help out the Reds. Exactly, Anthony King. Hey, Reds, we got your back, even though we're the Blues, the Dodger Blues. Agree with you 100%. That was a terrible game by Urias, yeah, it was not. And you know what the thing is? One thing to consider too is, look, it was very early on in the post-Sticky era, and you saw he had command issues that game, and he has since corrected those and refined those. And I think that Urias goes in there and gives the Dodgers a quality start. And I think this offense really has to wake up against the San Diego team. But I remember Urias got worked last time in San Diego. Bruce Davis, I've been a fan for 34 years, but Dodgers teams has 3 starters pen over us. Roger Kennard, I hope our organization brings in Maury Wills and Brett Butler to teach Cody Bellinger how to bunt for a base hit, at least until his shoulder is fully healed. Roger, the Los Angeles Dodger. How you doing, Roger Kennard, over there on YouTube? F. Baez, that's a hot take. I'm going to give you some flames for that. DFA Shane Green. Now, dude, is bad from Jonathan Robinson over on YouTube. Pound for pound, Dodgers. Remember what Padres did to them last time. Trust. Jay Torres, I would rule out that possibility. Probably say there's less than a 5% chance of him pitching for the Dodgers this year. Here we go. We got Can't Stand the Giants with the Pirates title. We got Would Max Scherzer play? Belly has proven for multiple seasons he's a good center. Yeah, Giants, AAA, bring back Mookie. Mets got worked by the Dodgers. They get their rest so they can do wing like we did. Good rest day for the team tomorrow and begin another streak of W's. Dave and the players gave the Mets a break. That's from William Blockson. We got, did you see Mookie taking ground balls at third base? What do you make of that? I mean, I think that they're going to try to find a way to limit how taxing it's going to be him out in right field. Because, look, I understand that when you look at it, on paper, it's funny because you see the Padres are moving Tatis to right instead of shortstop, and the Dodgers think that moving Mookie into the infield would be a less rigorous place for him to play and would help him avoid injury. But to me, the way I look at it is it's the style of how Mookie plays right field. He plays with reckless abandon. You're going to see diving out there. You're going to see him going for balls, and if he can be less exert less energy and playing in the infield, I think they're going to consider it. But it's kind of a big ask late in this year to go to third. I think that he'll be back in right though, especially if his hip's feeling okay. 9-1 the last 10, can't be too mad. Hope they bring energy against San Diego. If we play the Reds, I think the Dodgers. Here we go. D-Mac, are we getting Mookie back in the San Diego series? Moose 1032 is a possibility. There's a possibility on that. And I think it was just so encouraging. And to see when he was discussing how he was feeling with the Dodgers media the other day, and he was scheduled to play in a simulated game on Sunday. So you saw him on the field, saying what's up to the Brody. He was hanging out with Russell Westbrook a little bit. So I'm optimistic that we get him back this week at some point. That is my hope. And you're seeing the way that they're kind of just managing that injury, trying to give him some more days off. So maybe you see him come back, play a few days, take a day off, and maybe ease him back in the lineup. But I'm just very encouraged and optimistic based on what I saw from him out on the field. Getting some work in, but I'm hoping this week we rock Kevin Gausman. Giants are 8-8. Doug, you need to talk about why MLB is not. I don't need to talk about anything. This is. I don't need to talk about anything. I don't want to talk about. If you guys want to check that story out, I did a lot of thing on YouTube. You can say what you want about players and whether or not they should be in here, but I'm just. What I try to do is just base my takes on actual information and not rumors and not gossip and this and that. And I think that if you know how Major League Baseball operates and the precedent they've set with other players, I think that's kind of what I'm working on when it comes to that. But, yeah, I mean, we're here to talk baseball. We're here to talk about what happened in today's game and this and that. But if you want to ask the same 4 questions that on the topic we want to talk about, keep doing it. But I'm going to ignore it. Face it, the Dodgers will never be in first place. It's too late. Isabel, I disagree wholeheartedly with that. I think when you look at the way the schedule lines up for the Dodgers and the Giants, Dodgers have a more favorable schedule. The Dodgers are a team that faces this Giants team 3 times, and they're a team that made the trade for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. They made the trade for Chris Bryant, but when it came to adding pitching depth, I think the Dodgers, they got the big fish. I think that's going to pay dividends and help them overtake the Giants in the division. Bums are just like the Angels, always trying to impress. Wood is just like Price, softball pitchers. Giants hanging on by a thread. Here we go. Sounds like we need Kershaw back. Daniel Doring. Yeah, that's another big thing, too, is getting Clayton Kershaw back. I mean, Clayton Kershaw is going to be massive. And, I think that that's going to just really, really go a long way to just solidifying this Dodgers offense. I mean, this Dodgers pitching staff, and having him go in there and fresh, having him go in there and just really taking over that role and seeing how this rotation looks with Scherzer and Kershaw at the same time. And then you got Walker Buehler, who's right in the mix to win Cy Young, and then Mookie Betts, who can come back possibly by the last game of the Padres series on Thursday. So we'll see how those first two games go, but I really think Mookie Betts by the end of this week will be back with the Dodgers Thursday, Friday, whatever it may be. I think you'll see him back in this Dodgers lineup by the end of the week, and that's really what you can kind of bank on. So maybe he'll be against the Rockies, maybe he'll be against the Padres, but I mean, this Dodger team has some big games coming up, and but it's really about those first. If the Dodgers win on Tuesday, you really love their chance in that series with Buehler and Scherzer, and then they come home to play a 3-game set against the Rockies. So it could be a really good week. So if you look at the next 6, if you look at the next 8 for the Dodgers, it's at San Diego, at San Diego, at San Diego, then a 3-game home set against the Rockies, and then they host the Braves for 2 more to end the month. Now, I want to look at that Giants schedule, just kind of see how it matches up. Dodgers currently 2.5 games back in the NOS. So let's take a look at this Giants schedule. 3 on the road against the New York Mets, and then you got 3 on the road against the Braves, and then you host the division-leading Milwaukee Brewers for a 4-game set that rounds out the last 2 days of August. So I like the Dodgers' schedule to end this month and early September. So to me, the way I look at it is they're 2.5 games back, but if the Dodgers, they continue to play good baseball and they continue to go out there and you see this quality that we've seen over this 9-game stretch, even beyond that, this entire month of August, then I think the Dodgers will have the lead by early September in this division. I think that's how things are going to line up. I mean, you got that Braves. I think the Mets team, we could see a situation where early on this, I could see a situation where the Dodgers go past the 2.5 games, back to 3.5, and then they start eclipsing it towards the end of the week when the schedule is more favorable for them. So you're going to have some setbacks anytime you're chasing it. You're just not going to always be, progress is not always linear, right? You're always going to see a little bit of setbacks, but then at the end of the day, this Dodger team is gaining ground on the New York Giants. They go from 4 games to 2.5 games, shave off a game and a half. But here we go. Dodgers will be in first. Here we go. Roach. There's your hot take. I like it. Dodgers will be in first place by next Sunday. Mark my words. Roach, we're screenshotting this. We're making clips out of it. And it's not to put you on blast. It's because you're going to be right. We're going to highlight you. We're going to say, hey, Roach, the chat legend, knew this and he called this, and you're going to get full credit. So I'm feeling that. But yes or no? LLWC. I hope you're right, Doug. There's just over a month to do that. Look, it's not a guarantee. It's anything can happen in this sport, but the Dodgers are playing better baseball than the Giants in the month of August. So when you look at that and you look at the depth that the Dodgers have coming back, and the emergence of Phil Bickford, and of course he gave his first 2 runs of August today, but we've seen out of Vesia, you've seen the growth of Brusdar Graterol, and I think David Price, hopefully they can get him to go back into that bullpen. We'll see what happens with Tony Gonsolin. So, and then Danny Duffy, hopefully by September, will be in there. So I think the Dodgers are going to have reinforcements as the season ends. You're going to see more depth, and I think that will pay off for this Dodger team. Because, look, I mean, just imagine this lineup when you have Mookie and Trey Turner, and you start to see a little more cohesion and guys kind of knowing their roles. And then Corey Seager has looked really good since coming off the IL, hitting over 300. So at least the Giants have – we got a Giants fan here just spending his Sunday afternoon just chilling on a Dodgers post-game show. Hey, man, you're great for the numbers. You're paying the bill, so I appreciate you. Get comfortable, pull up a chair, kick up your feet, man. But just don't my whole thing is You can come at these Dodger fans, but my guys in the chat, my ladies and gentlemen in the chat, they come they come with it. So you don't want to mess with them and troll at your own risk is, I guess, my warning. About Craig Osterberg, what I think of the uniforms, I thought they were cool. I mean, like, to me, the way I look at it, I loved the idea behind them. The idea, of course, Los Dodgers. I like the all blue, because the all white is the best uniform in baseball, in my opinion. So that, to me, was the bold move. The splatter, it was okay. Was it a La Brea Tar Pits vibe? Was it the LA Smog vibe, like I've heard people say, especially my man Steve? But no, I thought they were cool. I mean, I thought the hats were kind of cool. Like, I was not against them. I mean, I know people wanted them to say Los Doyers, but if you remember, they had the Los Doyers dog, and that wasn't really well received because of the Los Doyers thing. I don't want to get too much into it, so there would have been a backlash with that. So I was cool with them. I didn't think they were like as cool as the White Sox ones, but they weren't as bad as the Giants that had the Gatorade G that looked like they were VLC inspired, like the VLC cone. But look, just imagine if they basically took the Giants design cue and you saw a white uniform with a blue LA, and on the side you had like the Hollywood sign, kind of like how the Giants have the Golden Gate Bridge. You know what I mean? I think, to me, they were a little cleaner, a little simpler. I wasn't mad at them. I'm not going to lie. Like Anthony Keene said, I've heard a lot of people say that they've grown on them, and that's usually the case with a lot of jerseys. The Dodgers' iconic script is what makes their uniform iconic. And, Yankees have more rings than Giants. Haha, okay. The uniforms were too blue, not enough contrast. Yeah, that's a pretty solid point, too. I think it looked really good when the way Chris Taylor was rocking them with his pants up. You saw white there, a little more contrast. So, look, I mean, it's a uniform. It's supposed to make a splash. It's Nike. It's a City Connect. They're trying to be bold with it. I mean, to me, like, I think they could have been so much worse. I mean, we ran polls on Dodgers Nation. It wasn't. I wouldn't say it was as well received, or even close to being as well received as the Chicago White Sox. But I think for the most part, Nike has, with a lot of these. I mean, the Red Sox ones to me were, they're pretty meh. I thought the Wrigley Field ones, the Wrigleyville ones for the Cubs, to me those look like Tennessee Titans jerseys. Where else were there? The White Sox ones I think were absolute fire. Those are my favorite by far. The Giants ones were one of the worst ones I've ever seen. Nike made horrible choices. Dodgers were eliminated in the first round. Is this better? My favorite part were the Nike Cortezes. Nothing screams LA like some Cortezes. Rhodes, that's a great point, too. If you throw in those Cortezes in the mix, and we've seen the Dodgers roll out some pretty sweet cleats this year with some Kobe cleats, with those Ken Griffey Jr., Jackie Robinson Day cleats. We had the 24 and 42 reverse. I love those. But when you factor in those Cortez cleats, those were some straight heat, and I was really, really feeling those. But hi, D-Mac. Shout out to Dodgers. Shout out to the Dodgers fan here in UK. How's it going, Matthew Brown, over in the UK? I love it. Hey, UK Dodgers fan, but let's go Mets. That's from Daniel, so we got some Mets fans in the mix. The White Sox one is by far the best ones. They basically ripped off the Vanderbilt uniforms. Yeah, they definitely did. They definitely saw that black pinstripe. I also thought the Miami Marlins ones weren't bad either. I kind of like the red on those. If Nike knew our city, they would have put Los Doyers, Moose 1032. But the thing is, I mean, there was a big backlash, Moose 1032. And you know the funny is, the Nike has made Los Doyers merchandise, and the Dodgers have trademarked it. But I think it was just a matter of, look, I mean, Dodgers don't like to mess with their branding, and that Dodgers script, that's what you think of when you think of the Dodgers. I mean, Brooklyn had the B hat, but they also had the Dodgers. That's the one link from Brooklyn to the LA uniforms is that Dodgers script, and I don't think they would have messed with that. I don't really think they probably strongly considered it. But, yeah, I mean, I will say that one thing Nike did accomplish was they got people talking, and that is in a lot of ways the most important part. But I was down in Santa Monica when they had this launch event thing for them, and dude, people were buying them, man. I mean, I'm not dropping $425 for a jersey these days under any circumstances, but people were copping them, and they were selling out, and those hats were selling out as well. So it seemed like they accomplished their goal. We got Los Doyers will win the NL West. That's from Alex Duran. Tina G-Man, they don't need to pander. The city already says Los Angeles. Mets backwards is okay. Fun fact, Mets fans, if not for the Dodgers and Giants leaving New York, there would not be the Mets. A great point from Carnivorous. And don't forget, you know why you wear blue. Hard to compete with the normal Dodgers uniform. Only thing I dislike is the hat. Too crammed in. Patrick Gagne. Dodgers going back to their other stadium, Petco Park. Dodger fans will be loud in San Diego these next 3 games. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I feel like this is something that, look, the Dodgers have been coasting. Not actually coasting, they've been winning one-run games, but you're going to see the level of competition go up going against this desperate team. It's going to be a playoff-like atmosphere. The Dodgers Beach House, as I like to call it, down there in San Diego. Buy a PSG jersey instead for half the price. Oh, I have some PSG jerseys. I got some PSG jerseys. My man Roach. Mbappe is my dude. But yeah, yeah, kind of retired from the jersey game. It gets too crazy, and you know what I'm saying, hurts the pockets. We got Isabel. But I do like those. I do like those white pink PSGs with the thing off the thing. That's cool. Are you gonna get a messy one? Let me ask you that, Roach. You gonna get a messy PSG? Can make errors. William Blockson. But yeah, Dodgers. They're now 21-10 in the second half. And they're 23-14 in the last games of series. They lost today, and you just didn't see the power. I mean, the Dodgers really only 1 extra base hit today. Carnivorous, D-Mac, is Dodger Stadium the most hostile stadium? That's a pretty good question. I would probably defer to some of you guys on that one. I need my Crenshaw Laker jersey. That's some heat. I would say, look, I mean, I've been to Dodger Stadium. I lost count hundreds and hundreds of times, right? And you look, it's very rare that you really see a crazy brawl. There's history there. You know the history. You can look it up. I don't want to get too into it, but I would say for the most part, Dodger fans, out there have a good time. And there's a lot of Dodger fans, but you're going to find bad apples in every fan base, pretty much. So that's just kind of how it goes. People get, it just. But I would say, to answer your question, is it the most hostile stadium? I would say. In terms of what, I guess, would be my question, because there's some hostile stadiums out there. Fenway, New York can get pretty crazy, but Giants fans stay getting knocked out at Dodger Stadium. Stupidity is universal. Roach, I'm getting a Messi away kit, being a PSG fan since 2013. Nice. So you've been rocking with them. You've been rocking them. You've taken all the league-owned farm club hate that my friends like to give me. So when they win the Champions League this year, you're gonna feel like you were a PSG day one when they start building this. But in terms of opposing teams, look, I mean, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly at Dodger Stadium, and I've seen. I mean, every Mets fan, there was no tension there. It was hey, what's up, Usually for the most part, Dodger fans are very respectable, very respectful to fans of opposing teams that go into Dodger Stadium. It's really a bucket list thing. You got to go into Dodger Stadium and see blue heaven on earth. But yeah, it's not a situation where it's like enter at your own risk or anything like that. I mean, they could up the security, in my opinion. I mean, that would change everything. I feel like all these fights I've seen on Twitter, on baseball fights, I mean, it's going down for minutes before security arrives. So I think they could eliminate this problem league-wide. And we've seen bad stuff, happen in Colorado and other places in San Diego, namely. So, look, I mean, tensions are at a boiling point during some of these series because it's so competitive and you got the fan bases and, people are a little boozed up and, you combine all those things. Sometimes stuff pops off. But you would just hope that even if you disagree with someone, you don't you wouldn't put hands, because then you're gonna who wants to go to a game and no matter what happens, we end up in jail for something that happened in a baseball game. Me personally, that just wouldn't be what I'm about. Dodgers and Raiders fans get crazy. Don't they have cameras in every section of seats? They do. Roach, there's fights at all the stadiums. Dodger Stadium just gets a bad rep, and that's a good point too. Roach, is that if it happens at a Dodger game, it's going to make national news because of the Dodgers brand, because of things that have happened in the past at Dodger Stadium. So it's going to be a bigger story. So it'll kind of permeate the sports landscape more from that sense. But look, I mean, if you consider how many games, how many innings, really hasn't been too bad when you think about it. But Seager over Conforto, Patrick Gagne. I sit in the left field bleachers when I go to games. Dodger fans I meet are very friendly. They're like brothers and sisters who are true fans. Yeah, I mean, that would be my experience really for the most part. But every now and then, like I said, you're going to have those moments, and I don't think that's a Dodger thing or a LA thing. That's just it's just something that just kind of comes with the territory of a lot of people at stadiums, getting lit and tensions flaring. But here we go. But yeah, thanks for rocking with us, guys. A tough loss today, especially when you consider all the momentum that LA's built over this last 9 games where they've won 9 straight. But the most important thing is they win the series. They take 3 out of 4. Anytime you take 3 out of 4 in a Major League Baseball series, it's a good thing. And the Dodgers, they entered the week 4 games back. They're now 2.5 games back. And at some point, you would have to believe the law of averages. You're going to get some regression to the mean, that the Giants are going to turn to that orange pumpkin that we know they are at heart, and the Dodgers will overtake them in the NOS. But it's going to be a fight until the finish in this division. There's still over a month of baseball to be played, and it's going to go down to the wire. So buckle up. I guess we'll end on this. We'll end on this question. Do these games feel like postseason games? I really want to ask you guys this on my way out, because to me, every single day I'm watching the Giants on either – I got the MLB League Pass, whatever you call it, or sometimes, I'd be streaming, and then I'm watching the Dodgers, and I really feel like I'm watching 2 postseason games every single day for the last 50 games or whatever you want to call it, since this race has gotten tighter and since the Dodgers have really turned up the urgency and got into desperation mode as far as realizing that it was time to flip that switch and make their run. Does it feel like a postseason game? Let me see. Pound for pound, 100%. These are playoff-type games. Doomed _Sal. Good show, D-Mac. Have a great evening. Thank you very much. IB Strokin, 37 games left, 2.5 games back with a soft landing towards the end of the season. We for this. I like it, IB Strokin. Pound for pound, loss is a blessing in disguise for upcoming Padres series. Yeah, I was trying to pound that point earlier, pound for pound, in that it will refocus the guys and let them know that, hey, man, you're playing good baseball, but you can still lose on any given day, any given night, and you're going to have to really play your best baseball and really turn up a notch going into that series against San Diego where they're going to be playing desperate. But right pavilion is where it is. That's from Edwin Reyes over on YouTube. But, yes, postseason games for Craig Osterberg, William Blockson. They don't are mistakes. The Giants, Anthony King, this is the best baseball season in years, all things considered. That's wild to admit with our struggle. I mean, Anthony King, I have to agree with you 100% on that. Like, of course, I wish the Dodgers had a 50-game lead in first place, but it is kind of fun to not, let's do the jersey number with the magic number, and everyone tweets out the same thing with that, right? No, we're trying to catch these guys, and it's playoff baseball. And look, when you're running into teams like in the postseason, like a Milwaukee team or something like that hasn't had this sense of urgency, I think it could pay off in the long run, considering all these battles that the Dodgers will have been in already. But Roach, 100%. We've ran away with the West every year. First time in a while I'm scoreboard watching. I mean, it's a beautiful thing, Roach. You have to admit it. 2.5 games up. I love the Dodgers are being pushed and ensures the team is stacked in the playoffs, a.k.a. Max and trade. That's another great point, Jason Lane. It was they had to find reinforcements, and it did force their hand when it came to shipping off some of these prospects and cashing in on guys like Keibert Ruiz and Josiah Gray to make win-now moves for Trey Turner and Max Scherzer. I'm telling you, it's the last dance that no one's talking about right now, and that has the Dodgers in this one, because I do think this will be the last year that this core is intact. But, yeah, guys, thanks for rocking with us. I was like hanging out with you guys, best fans in the game. Tough loss, but back in action on Tuesday, so enjoy your day off, and be sure to rock with Mr. Clint Pasillas and Brooks Smith tomorrow on the Blue Heaven podcast. They had a great time yesterday, as did the whole entire Dodgers Nation crew at Dodgers Stadium. But thanks again, guys. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMAC_LA. That's at DMAC_LA. A couple final takes here. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Get some home run cuts in here. Moose 1032. Thank you, Doug. Much appreciated. Best post-game show. We will catch the Giants. I need that, Moose. Anytime, wrong title, we're going to fix that, Vin. Thanks again, Doug. Awesome show as always. Anthony Keene, thanks for another dope one, Doug. Appreciate you, Anthony Keene. See you guys next time. Be sure, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel at youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. Also, download the app. Download the Dodgers Nation app for my Android and iPhone users. We got this sick filters with the Mad Max, with the Justin Turner beard. I still have to get in on that. I'm probably going to do one tonight. Also, be sure to head over to DodgersNation.com for all the latest Dodgers news. See you guys Tuesday. Thanks for rocking with us as always. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
It's time for Dodger Baseball.
What a catch by Mookie Betts. Another home run for Corey Seager. Another strikeout for Kershaw. A robbery of Tatis. Score! Will Smith.
This is what an ace looks like. And tagged out is Riley, a double play.
Dodgers have won it all.